Man, oftentimes as entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries, etc., we get stuck to what we want or simply what we perceive is the way, that we may not even be open to other paths in our journey to get to where we need to be. But sometimes pivoting to other paths and lanes can take you to exactly where you want to be and even more. Do not be scared to pivot. It brings evolution. This is the KYREN Monteiro Show, season number 3, episode 6, the Visionary series. Let's ride. Had to tell him something like
yesterday,
dead and gone.
Right now,
It's a new day. Let go.
New pitch, new vision, new mercy, new ways. It's a new frame.
New frame, new frame.
New frame. New frame, new frame, new frame, new frame.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, then and gone. Right now, it's a new day. New pitch, new vision, new mercies, new ways. It's a new frame. New frame, new frame, new frame, new frame. It's a new frame. New frame, new frame, new frame, new frame.
Moment to moment, I'm building my legacy.
Breath to breath, the Father blessing me, yeah. Keep on cooking, got the recipe, yeah. School opposition, that's testing me.
I'm focused on now, I ain't looking back.
Only the ones better think of that. Only got now, gotta stay on track. Getting stronger where I know I lack. And I gotta stay focused, it's a new day. Cause the drip drive flavor like Kool-Aid. See the high definition like Blu-ray. Hit the true ad-lib like 2 Chainz.
What's going on, everybody, man? My name is KYREN Monteiro. I want to welcome y'all to my podcast, the KYREN Monteiro Show, presented by Frequency Canvas. Round of applause, man. Thank y'all, man. Thank y'all for tuning in, whether you're watching this on YouTube while the podcast is being recorded or you're listening on some kind of platform such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, whatever. I appreciate you for tuning in. I don't want to waste y'all time, man. The third season of this podcast I call the Visionary series. Kind of been more so dedicated to entrepreneurs, leaders, visionaries of different sorts, whatever it may be, because I find myself in that role and it's my life on a day-to-day, and it's a lot that comes with it. So I know how tough it is, so I just decided to do this to inspire other people. So it's 10 episodes. No guest appearances or features on these episodes, just all me. And I kind of want to challenge myself to do that. And, most of them have been under 20 minutes. And, straight to the point and just some great power-packed episodes, man. And so episode 6, we're calling this The Pivot Brings Evolution. And let me say that again. The pivot brings evolution. Running 2 businesses that are based and birthed out of the music industry, I've learned a lot throughout the years. And I've seen people who had great opportunities to pivot either within the business that they already had running or being able to pivot from one business and transitioning into starting something else and being great, that they were so stuck to what they wanted to do just because that's what they wanted to do, and they never really went anywhere. And this is like recording artists, music producers, people trying to run record labels. I mean, audio engineers. I mean, all type of things. Managers, promoters. I've seen it all throughout the industry, and talking to people years later, they have talked about how they wish that they could have pivoted into doing other things. And I think that this is something that's applies to all kind of entrepreneurs and visionaries in general, that, they say that plan B is to make sure that plan A doesn't fail. And I'm with that. I think that if God has put something in you, I think that if you have something that you're called to, that you got to push no matter what. But I do think that there may come times when you have to consider pivoting and maybe jumping into other things, because it can bring evolution, it can bring growth, it can bring opportunities. And I've had to do it. I'm historically known as a hip-hop artist. I'm KYREN Monteiro, now as a recording artist, formerly known as The Messenger, like D.A. Messenger. I own a small boutique record label called Engage Records, formerly known as Holy Soldier Records. And for a decade, I went by the name The Messenger, toured around the country, did a lot of stuff, like 5 albums and 2 EPs under that name, had a lot of impact and a lot of groundbreaking stuff for the Christian hip-hop movement in Indiana and in the Midwest. And because of that, the record label birthed an audio production company named Frequency Canvas, and also birthed my career as an audio engineer, and helped pour into others as well. And if I had been so stuck on just one thing, this podcast that you're listening to right now may not even exist. And so I'm a testament to pivoting and knowing the evolution that it can bring. So I'm not telling you something that I heard somebody say. I'm not telling you something somebody told me. I'm not telling you something that I read on a blog. I'm telling you something that I know from experience, from doing, and something that I've seen other people not do and suffer. I watch many recording artists suffer because they refuse to give it up and try new things. And it's like, if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, and you're not getting the results that you want, you gotta analyze and say, hey man, this probably isn't working. So let's dive into this, man. Point number 1, your toolbox should be very deep so pivoting is possible. Let me say that again. Your toolbox should be very deep so that pivoting is possible, meaning learn as much as possible. I think that learning as much as possible at whatever it is you do sets you up for a better future. So that if you do got to transition and pivot into other things, you already have the education and the knowledge to be able to do what it is that you need to pivot to. Very important. Point number 2, you must be realistic about your talents and gifts, but also your weaknesses so that you can evolve properly. Sheesh. Let's say that one more time. You must be realistic about your talents and gifts, but also your weaknesses so you can evolve properly. There are a lot of people who are only realistic about their strengths and their talents and gifts, but they're not real about their weaknesses. It's great to be real about what you're good at, what you're gifted at, what you're skilled at, but you also got to know what you're not good at, right? You got to also know where your weaknesses are and things that need to be delegated to other people so that you can evolve properly. A lot of people waste time trying to nurture and steward and develop gifts in areas that they have no business existing in. Be realistic. You have to operate in the lane that you're supposed to be in. If you're not supposed to be driving in that lane, get out of the lane and drive in the lane that you're supposed to. You're just wasting time, Point number 3, pivoting on the journey to building your vision builds up character as an entrepreneur and visionary. Let me say that again. Pivoting on a journey to your vision builds up character as an entrepreneur and visionary. So what I'm saying there is simply that when you pivot, it builds up character as an entrepreneur. When you open yourself up to allowing yourself to be able to experience different things and learn different things in the lanes that you're supposed to be in, it's going to build you up even more. It's going to build up characters. It's going to make you more of a threat. And so I think that you should be open-minded to that. Point number 4, pivoting requires building the necessary relationships to help making transition impossible if and when needed. Let me say that again. Pivoting requires building the necessary relationships to help transition impossible if and when needed, right? So you never know if you're going to have to pivot. It's good to network with people so that if you have to, you have those relationships and you have that trust in place. It's going to make it a lot easier. Point number 5, last one, learning the art of delegation makes pivoting even more possible. Love that. Let me say that again. Learning the art of delegation makes pivoting even more possible. Meaning, learn how to delegate things. Going back to the point number 2 when I talked about knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, there are so many people that do not know how to delegate. They literally will try to do any and everything, rather it's to, just to save money because they, being cheap. Rather it's out of their own pride and ego because they think that they can do everything. I'm sorry. If you are capable of delegating and you're not delegating, you are not very smart. Let's give them a not so smart sound, man. Learn how to pivot, man. Learn how to delegate, right? Learn how to delegate. So prime example, I am not a good graphic designer. I'm going to delegate graphic designer. I am not a videographer. I'm not a photographer. So I'm going to seek people out for those services. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a bookkeeper. I'm going to seek people out for those services. Even trying to build an internal team, it takes teamwork to make the dream work. That saying is so true, man. So, hey, man, look, I want to give y'all a round of applause for tuning in. I know some of this stuff ain't the brightest, content available, but, man, we're really trying to build up a legacy and really trying to throw things out. There's a lot of people that want to do entrepreneurship for clout. There's a lot of people that's trying to do these podcasts for clout. Man, I could be doing this to profit off of it, but honestly, man, I'm just throwing these gems out, off of the love, man. And so I appreciate y'all tuning in. This is the KYREN Monteiro Show, Season 3, Episode 6. And I want y'all to, once again, make sure that you check the podcast out on all platforms such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, all of that type of stuff. This is episode 6 of season 3, the Visionary series. The episode is called The Pivot Brings Evolution, man. Let's go out with some music. This is my song, New Frame, off my latest album, Broken, on all platforms right now.
Yesterday, then I'm gone. Right now, it's a new day.
Yes, sir.
New vision, new mercy, new ways.
It's a new frame.
New frame. Yesterday, then I'm gone. Right now, it's a new day.
New picture,
new vision, new mercy, new ways. It's a new frame. It's a new frame.
Say moment to moment.
I'm building my legacy. With the breath of Father blessing me, yeah. Keep on cooking, got the recipe, yeah.
School opposition that's stressing me.
I'm focused on now, I ain't looking back. Only live once, better think of that.
Yes, sir.
Only got now, gotta stay on track. Getting stronger where I know I lack. And I gotta stay focused, it's a new day. Cause the drip got flavor like Kool-Aid. See the high definition like Blu-ray. Get the true ad-lib like 2 Chainz. When I got to lean out, small new flames. New moment, new ways, yeah, new day. Let the spirit come clean like toothpaste. Cause I can come undone like a shoelace.
Hey, man, I want to thank y'all for tuning in, man. Salute to every visionary that wants to be above mediocre and average. Keep building up. Don't let nobody tell you what you can't do. No matter what you did yesterday, you can be better today, man. All right, man. Blessings.